I only have one class.
One, still have one class.
Most of my PSLE, all my PSLE graduated already. So now currently I'm helping those P4 and P5 students. Yes.
Okay. Maybe okay, should we start already?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Today our topic is cancellation of P4 exams. So we just really want to share with everyone what is our views and what our parents can actually help, to make this happen. Yeah. To make them how to make our children actually who are actually P4 to really use their time properly, right? Although there's no exams. Yeah. Okay, so you want to share with us your slides?
Oh, okay, can. I do a share screen now. From the beginning. Okay.
So
it doesn't run from the beginning.
Maybe I can just introduce Mr. Yu here. Okay. Mr. Yu is a science expert. Okay, so he has been teaching in one academy to many top school students and also helping them to cope with PSLE, and of course P4, P5 are very important years. So that's why we want our audiences to really know how they can help the children better so that they are more prepared for the PSLE science.
Yep.
So I'm Jasline. Okay.
Shall I continue?
Yes, can.
Yeah. Good evening, parents and educators up there. So actually, for myself, I've been in the education for more than 20 years. Previously, I was teaching in Pei Hua Presbyterian Primary School, and then after that, I went to teach in Shanghai in an international school, and then I came back to run my own tuition, focusing in science from P3 to P6. So in my own free time, I like to set science questions. That's why I published a book to help students in P5 and P6 to master the science open-ended questions. Yeah, I also have my YouTube channel, so later maybe Jasline can remind me to share maybe one or few of these recently uploaded YouTube.
Yeah, and also I learned so much from Mr. Howard in science, because I'm a study coach. So I teach mainly the primary school. I also teach some of secondary school students, helping them to maximize their learning. So I also learned a lot from his YouTube videos. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so basically, I would like to share with parents briefly about some of the changes that MOE did regarding from raw score to AL. Yeah, some of you may have missed the briefing this year, maybe due to some concerns in COVID-19, so you may not attend the school meeting. So actually, in short, right, this is actually MOE changed the T score to a wider scoring band called ALs. So in the AL grouping, the least or the best is can get AL4. That means of the 4 subjects, your child get AL1 for everyone. So the smaller the number, the better.
Yeah. So this year is the first batch, right, for PSLE?
Yeah, this is the first batch. So I have about 30 P6 students. I'll be seeing their results in about 1 month's time, actually quite soon. Usually the PSLE result will announce between 22nd to 24th of November.
Okay.
Yeah. So the lowest or the highest AL is 32. How you get 32? Because maximum is 8. So 8 times 4 you get 32. So this is the banding here. AL1 is 90 and above, and 2 is this. There's quite interesting range here. If you notice, the AL5, the range is quite wide. It's 65 to 74. It's actually a 10-mark range. Yeah. So I always encourage students that I can help them to be promoted from AL5 with a 2-grade jump. Okay, that's means from 65 marks, right? It's possible to jump to 80 marks. So from 65 to 80 is actually a jump in 2 AL grades. which is actually is possible for science. So science is a unique topic that actually such achievement can be done, not too difficult, compared to other language subjects. So here's an example of a student. Let's say he get for English, right? Let's say the English he get 81, so we get AL3, and mother tongue maybe the child score 86, so get AL2, and mathematics maybe he do very well, he get 92, he get AL1, and for science maybe he score 88, and he get AL2. So this typical student with all the ALs added together is a PSLE score of AL8. So where would he or she land? So AL8, according to this range, right, is actually he or she is qualified for express stream, which actually is quite a good score. Anything below 10 is actually quite good.
So the important about PSLE is always which school that you can go to, right? So this is the important part that we need to stress. Thank you.
Yes. So you notice actually for those students who don't perform so well academically, they may go to NA, but not to worry because some are late developers. I myself have taught students who actually go to NA, but eventually they did very well. And I just shared with Jasline, I think recently, one of the students texted me recently that he actually did so well. He get GPA 4.0 in the Polytechnic, which is very rare. And then he was offered a job by the Air Force, so he's now very happy.
Correct. Yes.
In fact, he was featured in the newspaper 2 weeks ago.
Wow. So proud of him. But this is important for parents to know, where although your children may be in P3 or whether it's P4, it doesn't matter. This you need to know because now your report book is going to show this.
Yes. So for parents out there, I like to encourage you, if your child don't perform so well compared to other students, don't lose hope, because they may be late developers. So maybe by secondary they will catch up. But it's important that we give them the interest in learning. Yes.
That's right.
So this is a changer. So if your child is in P4 this year, your child will take the PSLE in 2023. So by that time, right, there will be no more streaming. And then in secondary 1, right, because the following year 2024, your child will be in Sec 1. MOE has this schedule called the full subject-based banding. Okay, full subject-based banding, what it means? It means that, for example, in secondary school, let's say your child is in the NA stream. Maybe your child is good in certain subjects. He or she will join the express stream for that subject.
I see.
Yes. So there's something unique. And then here I did an example because I was from a mega school. Pei Hwa Presbyterian is still a mega school. Normally from P4 to P6, each level we have about 8 to 9 classes. So because this year with the P4 SA2 being cancelled, right? So I was wondering, how do the schools stream the students fairly? So this is what in the past, if they have SA2, this is how the student will be streamed. So supposedly, let's say I base on a T-score of 400 marks. Okay, 400 marks, each subject 100 marks. So let's say this student, I just named AA, A, B, A, C, example. So the highest score in that P4 level, let's say this score 393. So the next highest score is 392. So most school, they will lump up all this top. Okay, because some school now they have lesser student per class, right? Yes. So I put 32 as an example. So let's say the maximum enrollment for the school is 32. So they will pack the top 64 students in the top two classes. So this one usually we call the HA, high ability student. Okay, then the in between one, right? Okay, the in between, they will be sent to the second best. Okay, because these two are the top 32, right? I put here. Top 32 will be the best class. The second best will be from the 33 to the 64 student. They go to the second best class. So the rest, example from here, right? Let's say 333, right? All the way to let's say this score.
200 over.
Yeah. they will be grouped in the middle section. Okay, majority of students will go to this middle section, which we call mixed ability. Okay, mixed ability. Okay, although I think now maybe many schools they don't use this term lah, but there are other ways to use it. In the past, we use quite simply HA, high ability, MA, mixed ability, and then the lower one they will go LA. Okay, LA usually they make the child have a lesser student in their class, because usually these students they need more attention. So let's say I pack only 20 students per class.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is how the school stream the P5 student. Okay.
It's something that is very very interesting to me.
Very interesting to you, right? Okay.
Yeah, because it's actually secret, right? Remember, they don't want anyone to know who is the best in the school. They always keep it very harsh, and that's why. And we always not sure whether this is the best class, But somehow somehow you will know lah, from some parent or some teachers. Yeah. Now.
Yeah, and then to be more fair to the streaming, I tell you this one, the mixed ability class, right? They practice this called the S curve. So what the S curve means? So for example, your child, let's say your child had this score, let's say 333. Okay, her good friend 332 may not go to the same P5 class as her. Why? Because they do this one. The 333 go to this class, MA1, 332 go to MA2, then the next 332 go to MA3, then the 330 go to MA4, then they repeat again.
I see.
Yeah, so a student with the same score may not be in the same P5 class.
They want to spread them out, is it?
They want to spread them out, yeah, correct. So this is how the P5 streaming work. So actually, without so important thing, because they will stay from P5 and P6 together for 2 years. For 2 years.
Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes, correct, yeah.
But can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Is it true that the best class is always the same alphabet or the same number? Because that's what I encountered. They always stick to say C is confidence is always the best one of the two classes. Is that true?
Not very true. It depends on the principal because some school they scramble the thing after a few years. Yeah. And then nowadays most school they don't use numbers already. They use names They use
like
the virtue.
Diligence. But you know who is the one who will definitely know? It's bookshop lady. Because when you take the book list, right? She will know whether your class is a good class or not.
Yeah, so I was telling Jasline, I said they stay in 2 years. Is it for better or for worse?
Correct. It's very important, I think, you talk about for better or worse, because I always tell the students that who don't like to have a rowdy class, So really, if you are in a class that, the children are like this, right? Some classes are really very rowdy. It's nice, to have this kind of, but some children don't like it. So that's why I say, when I for better for worse, this phrase, I would remind that, really, we have to accept, whatever it is for the 2 years together. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So let's continue. So actually for science is quite unique because this subject, they can make significant improvement if they have good understanding. Because here is an extract from the director of CPPD, who is in charge of the planning and development division in MOE. So this is what the students they need to know. Concept must be explained clearly in the context. Because sometimes exam, right? Although the child may know the concept, but the child didn't bring in the concept in the right context. Yeah, so I give you one very good example. As we study in P4, right? They study this topic called matter. Okay, they know that air doesn't have definite volume. Therefore, air can be compressed. Okay, so if a student is asked to explain, let's say in the pump a basketball. The basketball has a capacity of, example, let's say 800 cm cube. 800 cm cube. Now the ball is not fully inflated. So another 200 cm cube of air from a pump is pumping this 200 cm cube inside this perhaps half inflated basketball. Okay, then they say after this 200 cm cube being pumped inside, that basketball is still not fully inflated. So they ask the student explain why. Okay, if the student say the air can be compressed, right, the student will be marked wrong, because technically air can be compressed but used in the wrong context. Because I don't need to compress because there's still enough space for the 200 cm cube of air to go inside the space of this 800 cm cube basketball. Yeah. Because this will be explained in another different manner.
Yes.
That air doesn't have a definite volume, it will occupy the space of the container.
So it's a subject that you definitely have to write the concepts down in order to get the marks.
Yes, they must answer according to the context. So the other interesting thing is, because this year they don't have P4 SA2, right? But you know that actually these two topics in P4, matter and heat, right, is a key topic tested in PSLE. So usually, because I do analysis of past year PSLE science paper, up to 10% of the marks being tested for heat and temperature. And for matter is about 6 to 8%. So if you lump together, as many as 18% of marks tested on these two topics. So the child actually in P4, they need to understand and apply the concepts well in these two topics. And then as parents and educators, here are some of the creative ways we can engage ourselves to stimulate and support our child or our student. So like you ask them what they observe, ask them questioning them. And then also
especially
give
for
them
science.
Science is a lot, So on average, I will post at least 1 or 2 YouTube videos per week. So after posting, I will send to my student, parents, because usually students, they don't have phone at this age. So I send to the parents, I say, please discuss this with your child of this YouTube video. Usually I make it quite short, within 5 minutes they can see the thing and I explain the concept behind.
And through this, Mr. Yu, actually I have been telling parents of like P3, P4 students, that they need to, the parents have to really help the child to have the interest in science, because we see a lot of students struggling with science because they are not being taught early that science is very interesting. So really must look for Mr. Yu for science lessons. His lessons are very interesting. And
I just do a brief sharing. This is my YouTube channel. So actually I have about more than 200 videos inside. So thankfully every week there are new subscribers. So I just show you one very recent one. This is food science. The video is about 4 minutes, but I just fast forward. Well, today let's learn about some food sciences, as these are sesame glutinous rice taken out from the freezer. You can observe thin layers of snowflakes or specks being formed here due to the warmer water vapor losing heat to the cooler surface of the rice ball. Here you can see tiny ice flakes are being formed, and the water vapor has lost heat and condensed into water droplets, and the temperature is being further lowered until it becomes frozen. So here I have a flame that is preparing the boiling water to make these sesame glutinous rice balls for my dessert to serve my friends here. And this is the tea, the ginger tea in cubes form. So the water now is reaching about 85 degrees centigrade. It's increasing, and we can slowly lower the rice balls either by your hand in this manner. Just lower it down. 1, 2.
Yes, I think cooking is the best time to learn about science. Yeah, that's what I always tell parents. Yeah, when you cook, you bake. Actually, it's time to talk about science. Why the cake rise.
Now you can see the.
Been stressing a lot to parents and children after knowing you, and I think this question is like many of those questions we see in PSLE.
This is quite nutritious.
When they talk about condensation,
and I welcome you.
But children really need to experience it to understand it in order to write. So it's important. Thank you.
Yeah, so this is one of them. There are several more, so parents encourage you to see. The other one I like to introduce is this is the food science. Because they in P3, because P3 is a year where they exposed to science, so there's a lot of questions on animals. So notice I have this terrapin. You can actually, it's quite good form of de-stressing. Because now there are a lot of home-based learning, right? Or some children, maybe they need to serve home quarantine order. This is a good companion. Okay, this one. Yeah. And then also, I actually caught a very big moth. Because insect, they learn in P3 science. So I showed them the moth. And also, I brought the moth to the center. I asked the student here to release the moth.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's classification for this topic. Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Animals and insects. Thank you. Yeah, right. So do subscribe to Mr. Yu's videos.
So these are the ways we can engage them. Use real life example.
Correct. Like show them, make them like your cooking. You can try to cook something as well.
Yeah. So I think most parents, they are more concerned about answering the open-ended questions. Yeah, because my philosophy is, if they can master the concept in answering open-ended questions, right, there's no need to train them to answer MCQ. Yeah, because MCQ is a lower order, so if they achieve the higher order understanding, naturally they can answer the MCQ quite well. So this is my approach. When they come for my training, I spend most of the time, like 80% of the time, training them to answer open-ended questions. Yeah. So these are some of the resources I use to enhance my teaching. Yeah. And I got this personal philosophy: no pupils is too difficult to coach for science. Because once they like your learning, right, they will try their best to learn. Yeah.
All right. Yes. Science is such a wonderful subject. We should not. Children should really find the joy in this topic.
Yeah, I think also thanks for the parents and student support. You see the slide here. Last time there was only 160 subscriber. Now it's increased to 300 plus.
Nice.
So I'm also encouraging Jasline. She also got her own YouTube.
200 over 205 only.
Yeah. So these are my past training where the student come for either the 1 day or the 2 day intensive courses.
Yes. Super important. Yes.
Yeah, because science they can master over a short period of time. And my center is located at a downtown line, but because now due to the current situation, I prefer to do it online. So it's more convenient. Yeah. So for student next year taking either the P5 or the PSLE, do take note of I have this March and June holiday intensive training, which I would publish either through Jasline Facebook and also my Facebook to let you know.
Yeah, I'll post it.
Yeah. So my center is located at the Beauty World Center, level 3. This is a unit there. And you can see many students, they're learning very well. So today actually, as you know, next week there's 4 days of PSLE marking day. Some parents asked me to block out 1 day to help the P4 student. So this is what I've done. I've set aside the 24th, which is actually a Thursday. It's the last day of the PSLE marking day. 21st October is a Thursday. This training, although seems long, actually is not long. Some parents ask me, hey, how come so fast finish, Mr. Yu?
Don't just play, okay? It's very important days for your children to catch up, to revise. Yeah.
So actually is because every 50 minutes I'll give them a 10 minutes eye break. And then after the second break they have a lunch break. So they also need to rest, the computer also need to rest, so I tell them to shut down. This is done on Zoom. So I keep my class size small, up to 12 students. So now I have about 9 seats left lah. So I told Jasline I will extend the early bird to tomorrow lah. Yeah, to tomorrow. So if you register by tomorrow, it's 140. So after that will be 180.
Okay, so yeah, quickly go and sign up before the seats are gone. Because you have a limited, because you want to give attention to the students, right?
Yes. Yeah, correct. I limit the student, to give them enough attention, correct?
Got question they can ask, then you look through the answers as well, right? And there's most important is there's mock exam. I saw the word there.
Oh yeah, because without SA2, right? So actually I do something unique. So I will give them a simulated 30-minute SA2 exam so that your child will understand where your child stand. Yeah, because the school, they may not conduct a mock SA2 lah. So this also request by parents to give a simulated SA2 for the child.
Okay. Right.
Yes.
Okay, so you give just have to message you, right, to book a seat, right?
Yeah, correct. So I show you some testimony. This is what I helped students this year. I did a 1 day, actually it's a 70-something minute course. The one on top here is just 1 day before the PSLE exam. This one is during the 2-day course in September this year. So immediately after the exam, within 1 hour, I received this remark from the parents. They text me, So one of the questions that I actually trained them very well, it came out in an exam paper. Yeah. So they were talking about, actually it's about this question. Because now with this COVID, right, mask wearing is compulsory. So I'm thinking that MOE definitely will cover one of such questions.
Wow. Yeah. So all your students know how to answer?
Yeah, I believe so. Plus those students who came for the last minute training.
Yes, so must take action. Yeah.
So lastly, maybe some student, due to some private commitment, they can't come for the training. Parents, you can consider purchasing this book which I published, which I told earlier. I have great passion in writing. So this book is available for mail order at $14, 14. Yeah, it has helped many students in the past. So I focus in helping them mastering the concept in open-ended question answering.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Jasline.
Okay, so so I'll be sharing what I have on my slides. Thank you, Mr. Yu. So
thank you.
Today, we're just going to focus on why is it a curse or a blessing, right? So, and actually, I'm Jasline. I'm a technical parenting strategist, and I'm also a study coach. So I also tend to students that may not be having the best results, although they work hard. Okay, so it's work smart time. So I also do one-to-one coaching mostly, and also have courses. And what you have after my life is that you have tickets to my upcoming webinar. I think just now a parent actually asked us a question. I think it's LS Lau. Okay, maybe it's our friends. Okay, actually is asking that what if the child is very disinterested in learning? How do we ignite the interest? So I did ask that whether is it a generally he's not interested in studying, or is it just some particular subjects? So that's how we can help the child further. Okay, but come to my webinar to learn how you can help the child in one way or another. Okay, so there's a chance for you to go to Mr. Yu's special science class, and also also having a mock exam interest, for parents who want to have their children on mock exams. Okay, you can just go to my Google form and sign up. I will contact you, so how we can arrange that. And this is what happens to parents who are frustrated by children. Like what I think these parents say, my children is not interested in studying, so what can I do? So this is what I do as help parents as well as help the students. And so I'm going to tell you why final exams is not a blessing, okay? And why mock exams are so good, and we all should take action, okay? So to me, my system is motivation, mindset, and methods. Okay, so this afternoon I had a mind map kind of okay, so this is also because Mr. Yu's lessons about science, right? So I also share that I also teach mind maps for students science because the concepts are more easily absorbed. Okay, and yes, so maybe what I can share is that why I think that there's no exams is not a good idea. Okay, because in P4 going to P5, So if there's no exams in the final year, you find that your children has content-based subjects like Chinese, like science, like mathematics, okay? English, I feel that it's a live and breathing subject, okay? But for maths and science and Chinese, it's really hardcore. Means to say you need to know all the words inside the Chinese textbook. You need to know the concepts and the things that are taught in P4. P4 is also not a very easy subject. For maths is not easy subject as well. There are decimals. Okay, a lot of children are not so proficient in that, when they ask them to divide decimals, times decimals, they are not so proficient in that. So it's a lot of topics that, all condensed into 1 year. And let's say you don't have a final exam, so the children get relaxed, right? And then they don't revise all the topics because there's no motivation, right? And then sometimes parents tell me, okay, I never say about this, but parents tell me that, don't you think the teachers also have no motivation? So that was also a very interesting point. Because your students are not having exams, so there's no way to push them and there's no motivation. So she's the one who approached me for asking me to have more exams. That's when I started to have this with all my students, encouraging them. And I'm very, very happy that even the student himself tell me that, Teacher Jasline, you're right. She said that, how can we have no exams? What if next year also no exams? So he's also very worried about that as well. So he's just 10 years old, but I'm very happy that he's very wise, And so he also take up the timetable challenge with me to do all the revision. By the time he will have his mock exams, we schedule on 2 weekends so that we can do mock exams and mark his paper. So it takes parents and to really bring up this subject about, hey, have you done all your revision? Do you know everything in P4? Because P5 is another step. It's a much harder step to me because a lot of students, I think Mr. Yu has also experienced, you can do very well in P4, but when P5 comes, you find that your grades are falling, okay? And that's when you really need to have the foundations very strong. So when you go to P5, you find that you are actually falling back on what you learned in P4. So if you do not have a time to revise all your topics, that's when you will not be very strong, and that's when you really can see the reduction in all your grades. So do not wait until then. Okay, so do something now during these 4 days of the marking day. Okay, so that's why Mr. Yu is here to provide this course. And also I have also those free webinars that you can come and listen and see how maybe you can help your child to be more motivated. Like my student, he said, okay, I want to have more exams. It's really from his heart that he wants it. So really want to share this. And I have my slides here. Okay, how you can actually come for my here. Okay, so I have a webinar this Saturday, okay, where this is my 3M system, methods, motivation, and mindset, to actually help children of all kinds of learning issues, and this is free webinar especially only for tonight for the parents who are on this live. So you can go to the link. I also put in the link later on in the comments, okay? And then okay, this is another of my mock exam interest. So for parents who really want your child to experience a mock exam, right, please go to this link and then show your interest and I will contact you. All right. And so for me is I'm a study coach. So what I do is I help students, especially those that are failing their grades, to passing their grades and be a happier and more confident student. Okay, so these are my links to contact me. And that's all for tonight. And yes, Mr. Yi, any last advice we have?
Yeah, I know that because of the current situation, some students they may have some sort of stress at home. So as parents, try to let your child experience the nature try to bring your child out. Yeah, because for me, I'm a regular hiker. I must hike every week.
Yes,
sometimes twice a week.
Out. And breathe more, breathe, and then really do your revision constantly. I feel that it's also I feel we are also, sometimes we say stress, right? It's also because we are not prepared as well. We are afraid of the unknown, So some children are also anxious because they do not know what's happening and how they can cope with the schoolwork as well. So parents do take note of the anxieties that your children may be having and then help them out. Okay, that's all for tonight. Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.